What is happening? This is Jamie, the CEO, CTO, and founder of Virtual Sprout, coming in today from Denver, Colorado, out here with the team doing cybersecurity training with one of my favorite partners, seven-figure MSP. They put on a fantastic show, great continuing education for everybody here. So we have four of us out here from the team doing a week-long training session. So it's pretty awesome at a great hotel. Heard it's haunted. If anybody wants to look it up, the Brown Palace. I'm actually staying two rooms down from what they say is the most haunted room in the entire place. Super cool. Daughter's been out here. She's loving it. Dropped my son off at college, so it's been a fantastic week. So real quick, we're going to pivot into the FTC Safeguards rule. Most of you know that all financial institutions are regulated by this rule, and there is a series of prescriptive safeguards around cybersecurity that we've been going over, and we're going to go over for the next probably 14 weeks. The first one being a regular security assessment being done on your environment. So why do they want this, right? So the primary reason, if someone walks in, I apologize. I've had like 5 or 6 different folks poke their head in and look at me like I'm crazy. But the reason they're doing these safeguards in the first place is to protect non-public information of the consumers, right? Social security numbers, account numbers, that kind of stuff. So to do that, and the basis of all good security frameworks is doing an analysis to understand where the gaps, the holes, the weaknesses are. So if you talk to many people, when they talk about doing a risk assessment, they'll throw in some automated tools to do some scans, they'll throw you out a canned report, and that's what you get. Probably not enough. If you were to be called to the carpet with the FTC, if you were to, here's someone coming in now, if you were to go through a insurance audit, most often they're going to say that it wasn't sufficient, right? So what do the automated parts do? We do these all the time. There are generally 5 to 6 different tool sets that we put on the networks. They're doing a variety of things. First, we're looking for that non-public information that is sitting on the network that has consumer data, right? So that's the first part. We're going to catalog that. We're going to bring that back, understand where it's sitting. Now, you might be saying to yourself, as many of the people that we talk to do, that you don't have any of that. You have all these fancy cloud systems that all this stuff goes into. Well, 100 times out of 100, we find non-public information in significant quantities on these networks. And it's coming from a variety of places. Most often it's interaction with these cloud systems or people sending it into your organization to do whatever, whether that's processing a loan, closing a home title, whatever that is, right? So all that information is laying around. You need to understand where that is, get it off the network, remove it, delete it, or encrypt it, right? So that's a different safeguard, but a rule control, but you need to know where it is. The second part is you need to know where the vulnerabilities lie in the network. That means both internally and externally, unpatched software, third-party software, all kinds of things. There's generally a lot of this type of stuff, but you got to know what it is. And as you get better at the safeguards, those vulnerabilities year over year will go down, right? So as you do the work, you're going to close the holes. Now, one of the other requirements out of the safeguards is a continuous vulnerability scan type approach. We'll talk later about, but you'll know throughout the year that you're getting better, but you need to do this at least once a year where you're documenting all the holes, the gaps, and making sure that you have a mitigation plan to button that stuff up. Some other things that we look at automated wise, we look at the SaaS tools, Office 365 being the biggest. Good morning. We look at anything else that you might have on the cloud. We take a peek at that. So any of those types of things we're looking at. Is there someone trying to log in? Is there someone already logged in? Is there someone accessing the data? Making sure that stuff is all buttoned up. We look at the dark web. We look to see if there's been credential leaks. We scrape the network for credentials. We We evaluate controls that are in place already. We do a questionnaire. So there's a whole bunch of stuff that's automated that we do. On top of that, and this is the part that I think separates our risk assessments from perhaps a lot of competitors, is that we go the extra mile. We do a human aspect to our risk assessments. So first, we do human penetration testing, human social engineering, phishing simulation against the business to see if we can't get the employees to interact with us when we're doing something, quote, malicious, right? So we'll try to trick the front desk person to let us into the server room, to look at the files, to, we'll say we're the IT company, but we won't identify ourselves. We will send a bunch of phishing emails to everybody for a couple of weeks and see if we get people to give us data. All that stuff allows us to assess the health and wellness of the human aspect of your security, right? So do the humans understand how it is that you need to operate to be secure? We also do a series of interviews with the stakeholders, primarily around risk management. So the second thing that is most important in the safeguards rule, or really the risk assessment that we look at, is the money, right? Money, without it, your business doesn't operate. Cash flow solves all issues. And if someone destroys your cash flow, you're in trouble. So the couple things we look at every time is we look at the ability for insider crime, insider mistakes. Are there controls on the money? Are there controls on wires? Is there a process in place that is enforced where you have to have two people sign off on wires before they go out? Are there wire thresholds? ACH block. Again, these aren't really cyber related issues, but these are risk issues that will sink a business. So do you have ACH block on your operating accounts? Do you sweep money into protected accounts where people can't get to? Are there double signature on the checks? Do you have positive pay on your checking account? There's all kinds of stuff that is not cyber related, but we view ourselves as risk managers. And while we're having these interviews, we definitely want to get it on the table if there's risk there. Title companies, huge exposure to wire fraud, right? The common attack is a phishing attack where they will get a foothold into your Office 365. They'll start replacing wire instructions, and then you'll send out a bunch of wires to the bad guys, and you're never getting that money back. Well, you got to look at that, make sure that you're protected against it. But secondarily, you need to look at your insurance hard. If you're a title company, your title insurer is not going to protect you. They're going to become adversarial very quickly. They want you to pay it back. Your E&O insurance probably isn't going to pay it because it's a cyber issue, and most cyber policies have exclusions around cybercrime, or not cybercrime, but wire fraud crime or bank crime or money crime. So you need to make sure that wasn't waived. A crime policy on top of that wouldn't hurt for insider protection, but part of what we do, and we're not insurance people, but we have partners that are insurance folks. We will take a look to make sure that it is sufficient from a cybersecurity risk perspective, and then we will engage insurance partner to take a look at that as well. So again, holistic risk management is really the name of the game. That's how we approach risk assessments. You got to do it to make sure you're compliant. Next week, we're going to dive into the written security plan requirement and what that means. And then probably after that, we'll do incident response, which kind of tucks in hand in glove. So if you have any questions about any of these FTC safeguards and if it applies to you, financial institution, giant broad definition now by the FTC, give us a ring. Hit us up on cyber-strategy.virtualsprout.com to book your cyber strategy session with one of our security analysts, and we'll walk you through any of this stuff on a one-on-one. Talk to you here soon. Have a great day.